Welcome back to Streaming Media East 2022 here at the Westin Copley in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's see, so we've had a number of different guests today, but nobody's actually talked about DRM, so we're going to turn to one of the DRM experts in the industry. Olga, tell us a little bit about yourself and sort of what your company does, and then we'll talk about a couple things.
Hi, so I am Olga Kornienko. I am the COO and co-founder of EZDRM. We are the hosted, managed cloud DRM service. We've been in business since 2003, and we are the original DRM as a service provider.
Okay, very good. Now, you were on a panel here just a minute ago. What was the panel?
The panel talked about scaling live events.
Okay.
And all the things you need to think about from a business perspective, from a technical perspective. And I guess the few primary key takeaways were think about your metrics and using AI to possibly predict what the future for an event might bring. Part of it being the fact that you might be expecting 500 people and you get 5 million, or the flip side of that, you're expecting 1 million and you get 500.
Right.
How do you adjust for that with technology volume?
Okay, that makes sense. And then what about the security aspects of live events? Because obviously that's a big issue, not just authentication, say, but true DRM as well.
So it's actually interesting. For the longest time, we came across a lot of people who said, well, it doesn't really matter if we have DRM on a live event, which was kind of shocking to me. But the logic of those people was more on the fact that, well, it's a one-time thing and eventually the event will be over and that'll be the end of that. But with that said, it is kind of interesting to think about the fact that with all the piracy services out there, if the event is not protected, they get stolen and can be rebroadcasted by somebody else. And God forbid your event hicks up or has some sort of an issue, and now these people are looking for an alternative source. Or if for some reason somebody decides that it's cheaper on a pirated site, because hey, it probably is cheaper.
Sure.
Once you lose eyeballs off the live event, you lost the eyeballs, and getting them back is much harder. And going back to the panel, it's actually kind of interesting how scaling an event, like a DRM service for a large event, is also incredibly difficult from a perspective that you kind of have to know what to expect. Most people who are connecting to a live event usually connect in the beginning. Okay. So you will probably have a massive spike. So knowing what to expect, if it's going to be a 500-person event or a 5 million person event, is super important. And if a streaming company can see the watch time and all the people connecting as the event progresses, with DRM it's usually spiking right in the beginning. Okay. And then slowly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So a lot of CDNs will say, for most events we've got the capacity. We don't have to worry about looking at a multi-DRM solution or multi-CDN solution. But you've mentioned DRM, that you do have to sort of think about the scaling for those events. What are the takeaways that somebody watching this should know in terms of if they're going to have DRM on their live event, that they need to be giving companies like yours from a planning standpoint, if it's going to be a large live event?
Well, a big chunk of it is talk to your providers. Okay. I mean, obviously, if it's going to be a large event, then people would probably say, hey, are you guys ready? And
Right.
But at the end of the day, having a company like us where we are multi-cloud, so if, not everybody's perfect, right? Everybody has a hiccup, and we function in a multi-cloud environment where if cloud A, I'm not going to name any names, drops off, then cloud B can always pick up the slack. Having an infrastructure that's multi-geo, obviously, and on top of that, what we do specifically to address live events is we keep our server loads at around 40% is the max. Okay. And if we see something that's happening in our infrastructure where the server load starts to increase, we can preemptively add more servers.
Got it.
And this way, we don't have to worry about the server load, or if there is a spike of a large event happening right in the beginning, we can address that right away.
At least having those devices on standby so that you can turn them up and like that.
And in a cloud environment, you have it all pre-built and pre-ready,
Right.
and turn them on. It takes 5-7 minutes to
Okay.
address something like that.
Got it. Good deal. Olga, thank you for your time. It's always good to talk to you. And we'll be right back with the next guest.
Thank you for having me.